Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Matrix lab. This is the video number 15. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been working on installing Windows Server role feature on our newly created virtual machine. And we have seen how the configuration is done and what was the error encountered and how we can detect the error, where we can find the log files, and how we can solve the error related to the WSOS post launching configuration or launch or the post launched configuration. Okay, so we have seen this and what was the problem and how it is solved, and then we'll begin introducing a new troubleshooting tool. We all know that this lab series are focusing on troubleshooting in general, troubleshooting Active Directory, troubleshooting workstations, troubleshooting network problems, troubleshooting a lot of different aspects in your network or you may encounter as a system administrator. So the first tool we introduced the previous video was DCDIAG tool, which is a specialized tool, free tool provided by Microsoft to solve problems related to the Active Directory and the domain controllers. We have seen when we try to ask the AI tools to define what is DCDIAG, we have seen a lot of useful answers. We have seen that by changing the terms or the words that you are asking the AI, so you are trying to ask the AI what is DCDIAG. When you are talking to the AI with different words in different words can give you different answers. So you need to focus on the words that you type in the AI to get the answer, because some of them will give you a detailed answer, some of these words will give you simple answer, some of them will give you complicated answer. We have seen that there is 10 terms you can use to uh, give you a good answer from the AI. For example, you can ask the AI to explain something or a subject in layman terms. This is will introduce or will explain the subject in non-technical language, so the one that is seeing this answer can comprehend or understand what this technical subject is without the need of knowing the technical terms. Okay, this is one term that you can use with the AI. Another term, you can tell him to explain in a question and answer format. So you can explain a topic by asking a question and then an answer. This will make you easily understand the subject or to remember the subject more easily, because you are or the explanation is introduced through a question and answer. And we have seen there is a lot of terms you can use when you are asking the AI about a certain subject. So we have defined 10 terms that you can use to ask the AI tools about any subject and to get the most uh, 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 the most or the perfect answer using these 10 terms. So today, what we will do, we need to continue focusing on the DCDIAG tool. We have seen that DCDIAG tool is used in many, or it performs a lot of tests. After asking the AI tools, it performs a test to test the replication between the domain controllers. It will test the DNS through your domain network. It will test the connectivity between the domain controllers. A lot of things we have seen the AI tools providing us with a lot of info concerning this tool. Today we will continue focusing on this tool and we will see uh, what does or what will happen if the Active Directory is not working properly. What are the services that will be affected because of the Active Directory not working properly? Let's see a little bit of a diagram here. So this is also from uh, the Tech Savvy YouTube channel. This is the video related or explaining the DCDIAG tool. We will see here, this is a small slide saying what are the systems dependent on Active Directory. We'll see this is a diagram. We can see here that uh, the system dependent or systems dependent on Active Directory, the group policy depend on the Active Directory, the Windows update depend on the Active Directory, the terminal services depend on the Active Directory, the file services depend on the Active Directory, authentication, RDC or remote desktop connection, certificates, right managements, print services, message queuing. So if the Active Directory is not working properly, all of these will be affected. You will see some group policies are not applied, some Windows updates or some PCs are not updating terminal services. You will not be able to access certain servers remotely, or you will not be able to access servers remotely, file servers. You will not be able to access certain folders or share folders on the file server. Authentication, you will get some login errors, or you will not be able to log into the domain. RDC, you will not be able to remotely access some servers. Certificates, you will not be able to browse some websites. Right management, you will not be able to access Office files with different permissions. So the right management, it is a tool that you can use it to set certain permissions on Office documents. For example, you need to set on a Word file a permission to only print or to only edit or to only read. All of this was done using the rights management. Printer services, if you are sharing printers through the Active Directory, no one will be able to access the printers because the Active Directory is down, it's not working properly. Or you have permissions set on these shared printers. All of these permissions are related to groups and users that are in the Active Directory, so this will also be affected. Message queuing, you are sending messages to workstations or through applications in the domain. This also will be affected if the Active Directory is affected. So let's see how the AI tools will explain these terms or these services and how they are related to the Active Directory. Let's first begin with ChatGPT 4.0, and let's see how it will explain this system dependent on Active Directory using layman's term. This is the first term that we will use to explain these services and how they are related to the Active Directory. Just a moment.
One, group policy. What it is: a tool for managing computer and user settings across a network. Layman's terms: imagine you are a school principal who wants all students to have the same rules. Group policy is like a rule book you give to every teacher to make sure all classrooms follow the same guidelines. This makes it easy to enforce rules and make changes across the entire school at once. 2. Windows Update. What it is: a service that keeps Windows operating systems and software up to date. Layman's terms: think of Windows Update as a maintenance crew that goes around fixing bugs, improving security, and adding new features to all the computers in your office. Active Directory helps ensure that every computer gets these updates regularly. 3. Terminal services. What it is: a service that allows users to access applications and data on a remote server. Layman's terms: imagine you have a powerful computer at the office and you want to use it from home. Terminal Services lets you use your home computer to work on the office computer as if you were sitting right in front of it. Active Directory helps manage who can access these remote computers. 4. File Services. What it is: a system for storing and sharing files across a network. Layman's terms: file services are like a big filing cabinet that everyone in the office can use to store and share documents. Active Directory manages who can open the drawers, add new files, or take out documents, ensuring that only authorized people have access. 5. Authentication. What it is: the process of verifying the identity of users and computers. Layman's terms: authentication is like a security guard checking IDs at the entrance of a building. Active Directory is the system that stores and checks these IDs to make sure only the right people get in. 6. Remote Desktop Connection, RDC. What it is: a feature that allows users to connect to another computer over a network. Layman's terms: RDC is like a remote control for your computer. It lets you control your office computer from home, just like using a TV remote to change channels. Active Directory helps set up and secure these connections. 7. Certificates. What it is: digital documents used to verify the identity of users and computers. Layman's terms: certificates are like digital passports. They prove who you are online, allowing you to securely send and receive information. Active Directory issues and manages these digital passports. 8. Rights management. What it is, a system that protects and manages access to sensitive information. Layman's terms, rights management is like a lock and key system for digital documents. It ensures that only people with the right key, permission, can open and read certain documents. Active Directory manages who gets which keys. 9. Print services. What it is, a system for managing printers and print jobs on a network. Layman's terms, print services are like a central printing office in a company. Instead of having a printer on every desk, there are shared printers that everyone can use. Active Directory helps manage who can use these printers and handles the print jobs. 10. Message queuing. What it is, a service that allows applications to communicate by sending messages to each other. Layman's terms, message queuing is like a postal service for computer programs. It ensures that messages, data, sent between applications are delivered reliably, even if the network is busy or temporarily down. Active Directory helps manage the routes and delivery of these messages. By using these simplified explanations, you can better understand how these systems work and how they depend on Active Directory to function efficiently and securely.
So as you can see here, this is a very, very good explanation about these services that are dependent upon the Active Directory and what happened or what will happen if the Active Directory is down. And why we are studying this relationship between these services and the Active Directory, because the DCDIAG is responsible for checking the health of the Active Directory or checking problems with the Active Directory and the domain controllers that this Active Directory reside on or is installed on. So now we can comprehend why these services are important, and we can identify what problems will happen if the Active Directory is not working. So for example, if you have a problem with a group policy not implemented, then you should make sure that it is not something related to the group policy itself. Maybe it's something related to the Active Directory. There is a problem with some computers are not updating. Maybe this is not a problem with the WSOS. It is something related to the group policy that is uh, configured and linked through the Active Directory. So you need to focus on the Active Directory when any one of these services have a problem. You need to make sure or to see, for example, if there is a problem with message queuing, then you need to check the Active Directory. So this is one important thing to know. Let's see Gemini, and if I ask him the same question, what will be the answer? So here, this is another answer. Let's see if the answer is a little bit uh, good or the same as ChatGPT 4.
Active Directory is like a giant electronic filing cabinet for your computer network. It stores information about all the devices and users on the network, and also controls how they can access things. Here's how Active Directory helps with the systems you listed. Group Policy. Imagine a company rulebook. Group Policy lets administrators set rules for entire groups of users or computers in the network. These rules can be things like security settings, what software is allowed, or even desktop wallpaper. Windows Update. Keeping Windows up to date is important for security and new features. Active Directory can help manage this by automatically deploying updates to all the devices in a group. Terminal Services. Remote Desktop. This lets you access another computer remotely like it's your own. Active Directory controls who can use Remote Desktop and which computers they can connect to. File Services. Sharing files on a network is common. Active Directory controls who can access shared folders and what they can do with those files. Read, write, delete. Authentication. This is like a digital door lock. When you log into your computer, Active Directory checks your username and password to make sure you're allowed access. RDC, Remote Desktop Connection. See Terminal Services above. Certificates. These are like digital ID cards for computers. Active Directory can manage certificates to make sure they're valid and secure. Rights Management. This lets you control how people can use certain documents. For example, you can prevent someone from copying or editing a sensitive document. Active Directory helps manage these permissions. Print Services. Managing network printers can be a hassle. Active Directory helps by keeping track of printers and who can use them. Message queuing. This lets applications send messages to each other, even if they're not available at the same time. Active Directory can help secure these messages. In short, Active Directory is the central control system that keeps everything in your network organized, secure, and working together smoothly.
Well, the answer doesn't seem to be more clear like the one for ChatGPT 4o, but it also gives us a uh, little bit or we can understand from this answer what are these services and how they are related to the Active Directory in a certain way. Okay, so let's see Claude 3 answer. Even though this is the least answer I see from this AI, so the best answer is for ChatGPT 4o, then Gemini, then this is the last answer I prefer. Just a moment.
Sure. I'll explain these systems in simple terms. Active Directory Group Policy. This system allows administrators to manage settings and configurations for users and computers across a network. It ensures that everyone follows the same set of rules and has access to the resources they need. Windows Update. This is a service that keeps your Windows operating system up to date with the latest security patches and software updates. It helps protect your computer from security vulnerabilities and provides new features. Terminal Services. This service allows users to remotely access applications and resources on a server from their local computer. It's like having a virtual desktop that you can access from anywhere. File Services. This system manages shared files and folders on a network. It allows users to store and access files from different computers, making collaboration and file sharing easier. Authentication. This process verifies the identity of a user or computer before granting access to resources. It ensures that only authorized individuals can access sensitive information or systems. RDC, Remote Desktop Connection. This is a tool that allows you to remotely control another computer over the network, as if you were sitting in front of it. It's useful for technical support or accessing resources from a different location. Certificates. These are digital documents that verify the identity of a person, computer, or organization. They are used to establish secure connections and ensure that data is transmitted safely over the internet. Rights Management. This system controls and protects access to digital information, such as documents or emails. It ensures that only authorized users can view, edit, or share sensitive data. Print Services. This system manages printers and print queues on a network. It allows users to send documents to shared printers from their computers, making it easier to print from different locations. Message queuing. This service enables applications to communicate and exchange messages reliably, even if the receiving application is temporarily unavailable. It acts as a middleman, holding messages until they can be delivered. In essence, these systems help organizations manage and secure their computer networks, resources, and data effectively, while also enabling collaboration and remote access for users.
We can see here that the Claude 3 Sonnet didn't explain the relationship between these services and the Active Directory, even though Gemini have done this, and ChatGPT 4 is the best tool that have described the relationship between these services and the Active Directory. So let's go and ask ChatGPT 4o. Another question is to explain the same services and their relationship to the Active Directory using a question and answer format. This will make it more clear. Maybe the answer to explain these terms using layman terms is not simple, not simple. It's not clear enough to explain the relationship between these services and the Active Directory. This format will make it more clear how these services are related to the Active Directory. Just wait for a moment.
Group Policy. Question: what is group policy? A. Group policy is a tool for managing computer and user settings across a network. Question: how does group policy depend on Active Directory? Active Directory stores and distributes group policy settings to all computers and users in the network, ensuring consistent rules and configurations. 2. Windows Update. Question: what is Windows Update? A. Windows Update is a service that keeps Windows operating systems and software up to date with the latest patches and features. Question: how does Windows Update depend on Active Directory? Active Directory helps manage and enforce update policies across all computers in the network, ensuring that updates are applied uniformly and on schedule. 3. Terminal services. Question: what are terminal services? A. Terminal services allow users to access applications and data on a remote server as if they were using a local computer. Question: how do terminal services depend on Active Directory? A. Active Directory authenticates users and manages permissions, ensuring only authorized users can access remote servers and applications. 4. File services. Question: what are file services? File services provide a system for storing, accessing, and sharing files across a network. Question: how do file services depend on Active Directory? Active Directory controls access to files and folders, ensuring that only authorized users can view or modify them. 5. Authentication. Question: what is authentication? A. Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of users and computers in a network. Question: how does authentication depend on Active Directory? Active Directory stores user credentials and performs authentication checks, allowing users to securely log in to the network. 6. Remote Desktop Connection, RDC. Question: what is Remote Desktop Connection, RDC? A. RDC allows users to connect to another computer over a network and control it remotely. Question: how does RDC depend on Active Directory? A. Active Directory manages user permissions and security settings for RDC, ensuring that only authorized users can access remote computers. 7. Certificates. Question: what are certificates? Certificates are digital documents used to verify the identity of users and computers and to secure communications. Question: how do certificates depend on Active Directory? Active Directory manages and issues certificates, ensuring they are valid and trusted for secure communications and authentication. 8. Rights management. Question: what is rights management? A. Rights management protects and manages access to sensitive information by controlling who can view, edit, and share documents. Question: how does rights management depend on Active Directory? A. Active Directory manages the permissions and access rights, ensuring that only authorized users can access protected information. 9. Print services. Question: what are print services? Print services manage printers and print jobs on a network, allowing users to print documents to shared printers. Question: how do print services depend on Active Directory? Active Directory controls which users have access to which printers and manages the distribution of print jobs, ensuring efficient and secure printing. 10. Message queuing. Question: what is message queuing? Message queuing allows applications to communicate by sending messages to each other, ensuring reliable data transfer even if the network is busy or temporarily down. Question: how does message queuing depend on Active Directory? Active Directory manages the security and routing of messages, ensuring they are delivered to the right applications and users securely and reliably. Explain these systems dependent on Active Directory.
So we can see here the answer is more clear. We can see the direct relationship between these services and the Active Directory. But one thing here, the Active Directory concerning the certificates, it will distribute the certificates, but I think it will not issue the certificate. The one that issued the certificates is the certificate server. Anyway, I think it's also the certificate server is, I think, related or linked to the Active Directory. Anyway, so these question and answer format clearly uh, stated to us what is the relationship between these systems and the Active Directory. Let's see the answer of Gemini if he will give us a good answer. So the same question is asked to Gemini, and let's see what is the answer.
Active Directory and Network Systems, Q&A. Q. How does group policy help with Active Directory? Think of group policy as a company rulebook for your network. Active Directory lets administrators set these rules for groups of users or computers. These rules can cover security settings, allowed software, or even how your desktop looks. Q. How does Active Directory help with Windows Update? Keeping Windows software up to date is crucial. Active Directory can automate this by deploying updates to all devices in a group, ensuring everyone has the latest security patches and features. Q. What about terminal services, remote desktop? This lets you control another computer remotely. Active Directory acts like a security guard, controlling who can use remote desktop and which computers they can connect to. Q. How does Active Directory help with file services? Sharing files on a network is common. Active Directory controls who can access shared folders and what they can do with the files. Read, write, delete. Imagine it as a permission system for your digital filing cabinets. Q. What's the role of Active Directory in authentication? This is like a digital door lock. When you log into your computer, Active Directory checks your username and password to make sure you're authorized. It's the key that unlocks your access to the network. Q. Isn't RDC the same as terminal services? Yes, RDC, Remote Desktop Connection, is another name for the same service. Both rely on Active Directory for security. Q. How does Active Directory handle certificates? Imagine certificates as digital ID cards for computers. Active Directory manages these certificates, ensuring they're valid and secure. This is especially important for secure communication between devices. Q. What's rights management? How does Active Directory fit in? Rights management lets you control how people use certain documents. You can prevent copying or editing sensitive documents. Active Directory helps manage these permissions, like a central control system for document access. Q. How does Active Directory help with print services? Managing network printers can be a headache. Active Directory helps by keeping track of printers and who can use them. It's like an electronic address book for your network printers. Q. What about message queuing? This lets applications send messages to each other, even if they're not available at the same time. Active Directory can help secure these messages, ensuring they get delivered safely.
So this is another answer, a good answer explaining the relationship between these services and the Active Directory, but I think the best one is also ChatGPT 4o. Let's go to Claude and see what is the answer.
Sure, I can explain these systems using a question. What is Active Directory Group Policy? Active Directory Group Policy is a system that allows administrators to manage settings and configurations for users and computers across a network. It ensures consistency and control over the entire network environment. What is Windows Update? Windows Update is a service that keeps the Windows operating system up to date with the latest security patches and software updates. It helps protect computers from security vulnerabilities and provides new features and improvements. Question: what is Terminal Services? Terminal Services is a system that allows users to remotely access applications and resources on a server from their local computer. It provides a virtual desktop environment that can be accessed from anywhere. Question: what is File Services? File Services is a system that manages shared files and folders on a network. It allows users to store and access files from different computers, enabling collaboration and file sharing across the organization. Question: what is authentication? Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user or computer before granting access to resources. It ensures that only authorized individuals can access sensitive information or systems, enhancing security. Question: what is RDC? Remote Desktop Connection? RDC, Remote Desktop Connection, is a tool that allows users to remotely control another computer over the network, as if they were sitting in front of it. It is useful for technical support, remote access, and accessing resources from different locations. Question: what are certificates? Certificates are digital documents that verify the identity of a person, computer, or organization. They are used to establish secure connections and ensure that data is transmitted safely over the internet, protecting against unauthorized access and eavesdropping. Question: what is rights management? A. Rights management is a system that controls and protects access to digital information, such as documents or emails. It ensures that only authorized users can view, edit, or share sensitive data, preventing unauthorized access or misuse. Question: what are print services? Print services is a system that manages printers and print queues on a network. It allows users to send documents to shared printers from their computers, enabling efficient printing from different locations within the organization. Question: what is message queuing? A. Message queuing is a service that enables applications to communicate and exchange messages reliably, even if the receiving application is temporarily unavailable. It acts as a middleman, holding messages until they can be delivered, ensuring reliable and consistent communication between applications. Copy. Kronor. Explain.
Okay, this answer is typically the same as the answer before, but he is putting it in a question. Okay, so this is the least answer I prefer. The best answer is for ChatGPT 4. Oh, this is the best one. Then comes after that Gemini. Then the least one is Claude 3 Sonnet. Claude 3 Sonnet and Gemini are free tools. ChatGPT 4o is a paid tool. So this, when you compare, you need to compare all for the paid version. So you need to compare ChatGPT 4 to Gemini Pro and to Claude 3 Ops. But here I am using one paid tool and two different free tools. Anyway, so we can see that this question and answer format begins to set or to make us understand the different systems and how they are related to the Active Directory. Then we need to go and tell the ChatGPT 4 to give us a real example or real world example how these services are related to the Active Directory. So let's wait for a moment and see the answer of ChatGPT 4o. Okay.
1. Group policy. Example. Scenario. A school wants to enforce a consistent set of rules on all student computers. Explanation. The school's IT administrator uses group policy to set up rules like disabling games, blocking certain websites, and setting the desktop wallpaper. Active Directory helps distribute these policies to every student's computer. This way, all students follow the same rules without the IT team having to configure each computer individually. 2. Windows Update. Example. Scenario. A company needs to ensure all employee computers receive the latest security patches. Explanation. The IT department configures Windows Update policies in Active Directory to automatically install updates during non-working hours. Active Directory ensures that all computers in the company follow this schedule, keeping systems secure and reducing downtime during business hours. 3. Terminal services. Example. Scenario. A remote sales team needs to access the company's CRM system. Explanation. The company sets up terminal services to allow remote access to the CRM. Sales team members can log in from their laptops at home. Active Directory verifies their identities and permissions, ensuring that only authorized employees can access the system remotely. 4. File services. Example. Scenario. An advertising agency needs to share large design files among team members. Explanation. The agency uses file services to store all design files on a central server. Active Directory manages access to these files, allowing only team members to open and edit them. This setup prevents unauthorized access and ensures everyone can collaborate efficiently. 5. Authentication. Example. Scenario. Employees at a bank need secure access to their workstations and applications. Explanation. When employees log into their computers, Active Directory checks their usernames and passwords to ensure they are authorized users. This process, called authentication, ensures that only bank employees can access sensitive financial data and applications. 6. Remote Desktop Connection, RDC. Example. Scenario. An IT support technician needs to troubleshoot a problem on a user's computer from a different location. Explanation. The technician uses RDC to connect to the user's computer remotely. Active Directory manages the permissions, ensuring the technician has the right access to perform the troubleshooting while keeping the user's data secure. 7. Certificates. Example. Scenario. An online retailer needs to secure transactions on their website. Explanation. The retailer uses digital certificates to encrypt communications between customers and the website. Active Directory manages these certificates, ensuring they are valid and trusted, so customers can safely enter their payment information. 8. Rights management. Example. Scenario. A healthcare provider needs to protect patient records. Explanation. The provider uses rights management to control access to electronic health records. Active Directory assigns permissions, allowing only authorized medical staff to view and edit the records, ensuring patient confidentiality and compliance with privacy regulations. 9. Print services. Example. Scenario. A university has several shared printers for students and staff. Explanation. Print services manage these shared printers, and Active Directory controls who can use them. Students can print assignments, and staff can print administrative documents, all without needing to install printers on each individual computer. Print jobs are managed and queued efficiently. 10. Message queuing. Example. Scenario. A financial trading firm needs to ensure reliable communication between its trading applications. Explanation. The firm uses message queuing to send trade orders and updates between applications. Active Directory manages the security and delivery of these messages, ensuring they reach their destination even if the network is temporarily down, maintaining the integrity of the trading process. These real-world examples demonstrate how each system relies on Active Directory to function effectively and securely in various environments.
So we can see here, this is the answer also begin to clarify to us how these services are related to the Active Directory with real world examples. So we can now see the whole point. We now know what these services are, how they are related to the Active Directory, what are the real world examples to illustrate this relationship between these systems and the Active Directory. Let's see Gemini and its answer related to this question or this term using real world examples. Let's see also this answer.
Real-world examples of Active Directory and network systems. Group policy. Imagine a school with Active Directory. School administrators can create group policies for different user groups. For example, teachers. A policy might grant teachers access to install educational software and restrict them from installing games. Students. A policy could limit students' access to certain websites or restrict them from changing desktop settings. Windows Update. In a large hospital network, Active Directory can automatically deploy critical security updates to all doctors' computers overnight. This ensures everyone has the latest protection against viruses and other threats. Terminal services. Remote desktop. A company's IT team can use remote desktop with Active Directory to troubleshoot issues on employee computers remotely. They can securely access specific employee machines without physically visiting their desks. File services. A law firm can use Active Directory to control access to different folders on a shared server. Lawyers might have full access to client files in their practice area, while paralegals might only have read access. Authentication. When you log into your work computer, Active Directory acts like a bouncer at a club. It checks your username and password against its database. If everything matches, you're granted access to the network resources, the club. RDC, Remote Desktop Connection, see Terminal Services above. Both rely on Active Directory for access control. Certificates. An online store can use certificates issued and managed by Active Directory to secure communication between its website and customer browsers. This ensures that sensitive data, like credit card information, is encrypted and protected from eavesdroppers. Rights management. A research company might use rights management with Active Directory to control access to confidential research documents. This could prevent unauthorized users from copying or editing sensitive data. Print services. A university can use Active Directory to manage its network printers. Students in different dorms can be assigned access to specific printers closest to them, preventing long lines at a central printer location. Message queuing. An e-commerce company might use message queuing to handle order confirmations. When a customer places an order, a message is sent to the order processing system, even if it's temporarily overloaded. Active Directory helps secure these messages, ensuring orders are processed smoothly.
So we can see here also this answer is good and also tells us how these systems are related to the Active Directory using real-world examples. I prefer the answer of ChatGPT 4.0 again, and then Gemini. Let's see the answer of uh, Claude 3 Sonnet.
Sure, here are some real-world examples to help explain these systems. Active Directory Group Policy. In a large corporation, IT administrators use group policy to enforce security settings, configure software installations, and manage user permissions across thousands of computers and employees. For example, they can use group policy to require strong password policies, restrict access to certain websites, and automatically install approved software updates. Windows Update. When the WannaCry ransomware attack occurred in 2017, many organizations were affected because they had not applied critical security updates from Microsoft. Windows Update helps protect against such vulnerabilities by automatically delivering security patches and feature updates to Windows computers, ensuring they are up-to-date and secure. Terminal services. In healthcare, doctors and nurses often use terminal services to access patient records and medical applications from various computers or devices within the hospital. This allows them to access the information they need from anywhere, improving efficiency and patient care. File services. In a law firm, file services enable lawyers and paralegals to store and share case files, legal documents, and client information on a central file server. This makes collaboration easier and ensures that everyone is working with the latest versions of important files. Authentication. When you log in to your online banking account, the authentication process verifies your identity by checking your username and password against the bank's records. This ensures that only you can access your sensitive financial information and prevents unauthorized access. RDC, Remote Desktop Connection. IT support technicians often use remote desktop connection to troubleshoot and fix issues on employees' computers without physically being present. This saves time and enables efficient support from a central location. Certificates. When you visit a secure website, e.g., https://www.amazon.com, the site uses a digital certificate to establish an encrypted connection with your browser. This certificate verifies the website's identity and ensures that your data, like credit card information, is transmitted securely. Rights management. In a government agency, rights management is used to protect sensitive documents and emails from unauthorized access or sharing. For example, a classified document can be configured to only be viewable by individuals with the appropriate security clearance. Print services. In a university, print services allow students and faculty to send documents to shared printers from any computer on campus. This makes printing more convenient and reduces the need for individual printers in every location. Message queuing. In an e-commerce application, message queuing is used to ensure that order requests are processed reliably, even if the order processing system is temporarily unavailable due to high traffic or maintenance. Orders are queued and processed sequentially, preventing any orders from being lost or missed.
So as we can see here, all of the answers of Claude 3 Sonnet, it explains exactly or in a simple terms these services, but it didn't state their relationship to the Active Directory. Some of the answers or this answer real world examples, some of them are good. Actually, one of the WannaCry, this was statistics saying yes, that WannaCry has infected a lot of PCs because they didn't apply the critical security upgrades from Microsoft. This was 2017, so this is a good uh, example. Okay, and we can see also another one concerning for example, the one for the certificates or the right management. Anyway, so we can see here this is a very good good answer. Now we have known the services that depend upon the Active Directory. We have a clear definition of each one of these services, what they do, and we have a clear vision about their relationship to the Active Directory. The question that arises that will be answered with God will the next video: what are the services that the Active Directory depend on? So by another terms, what are the services that if they are not running, the Active Directory will not work? Let's give you a little bit of a clue here. So if we go there and see, first of all, if you go to this slide, AD failures can bring your entire organization to halt. There is a problem with the Active Directory. It will cause a lot of problems. Active Directory is complex. When failures occur, it can be stressful. So here, this is the services that Active Directory will function with. If any one of these services is not running, then the Active Directory will not function. So we can see Active Directory cannot function without DNS, RPC, remote protocol control, I think, or remote procedure control, remote procedure call protocol, DNS, domain name service, LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol, Kerberos, a network authentication protocol. So all of these, if one of these is not running, the Active Directory will not function correctly. So in the upcoming video, we'll ask the different AI tools, uh, explain these services in simple terms and their relationship to the Active Directory, or the opposite way. We will explain these services and the relation of the Active Directory to these services. So, for example, if this service is not working, how it will affect the Active Directory. If the RPC is not working, how this will affect the Active Directory. So we will ask the different AI tools again this question. And again, why we are studying this? Because we will know if there is any problem with the Active Directory, then one of these services could not be running or is not running. Okay, and we can add also replication service. Anyway, I think replication also is added to the mix. So this is, if one of these services are not running, then our Active Directory will not work. And you have studied the services that are dependent on the Active Directory. So if any one of these services is not working, the group policy is not working properly, then that means that the Active Directory is not working properly. Why the Active Directory is not working properly? One of these services is not working properly. So we have the loop and we can see each service depend on what and what is the consequences of not this service working. So until the upcoming video, we will study this section, because the more you know about your infrastructure, the more when you are troubleshooting, you will know how to fix the issue. So now we have a little bit of a vision how our Active Directory works and how it is related to different services, okay, and how we can know if any one of these services is not working, then we can pinpoint or we can see why this service is not working. If it is depending on the Active Directory, then we should see the Active Directory. If the Active Directory is not working, then we should go to the service or check one of these services that is related to the Active Directory. So until the upcoming video, hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.